Hello everyone, Hachadino over here. As you always know, you can like my video, subscribe in any of the cats that it's over there, and also check out the shit if you are really interested in rogue things, and Subtlety Rogue in particular. But this is going to be a general video. As you know, this is a Dungeon Bites one, and I'm going to talk about Atal Dazar. Atal Dazar is a dungeon with 4 bosses, as you may know, and these 4 bosses are Priestess Alunza, Volcal, Rezar, and yazma. There's a thing when you can do any of these 3 bosses in the order that you prefer. I'm going to talk, of course, about mechanics that we can use as a rogue in this dungeon. It's not something that you always want to do, but things that you can do, and maybe not everyone knows them or really practices them. So let's get here on Atal. There's a lot of ways to pull this dungeon. A lot of people go directly to Rezan, but others go also and do these packs here, everything here, and then even with this, and then go to Alunza. So talking about the mechanics on these bosses, I'm going to begin with Alunza. It is a really easy boss, usually of course, but there are things that you may not know as a rogue, so I'm going to talk really fast now to make this video as short as possible. Things that you can do on this boss that maybe you don't know. You can, of course, Cloak Tainted Blood, Cloak Mounted Gold. If you get for some reason hit by it, it reduces your damage, so you really want to do that. And also, of course, blind or stun or gouge. Don't gouge because you really should have a airborne irritant. The Spirits of Gold, and that's everything really. One thing that you can do is if you play Shadow Dust, you can blind the 2 sets that the boss puts around if you banish once, but it's usually better to just don't banish on this boss because the boss really just kills itself. And also, many groups have druids or mages or priests or whatever that can root it or do whatever, and you can just keep hitting the boss without having to waste your blind that you may want to use in one of the Sky Streamer packs or somewhere else to get one of those really good AoE CCs. Now, for vocal, we can't do much apart from just always interrupting the stench. If you have a good weak aura pack or something, it will tell you when it's going to do it, and just as he jumps, you can interrupt it, and if you are fast enough, you even don't get any of the dot damage. You can also, of course, cloak in any of these dots, and also you, of course, don't get hit by the rapid decay or the toxic pool damage if you are in cloak. Now, for Rezan, there's one thing that I will say first of all. You can cloak the fear. You may already know this. You can also banish the pursuit. And you can also night elf the pursuit even if it's on someone else. You wait for it to begin and then you shadowmeld and it for some reason breaks his AI and he does not use it on that person. And at last, Yazma, there are some things that we can do with different builds. We can once again blind the ads from the Sovereign. This does a heavy amount of damage on a high key, so you can also, of course, cloak this. The best way to cloak this is when it's going to also cast Wrecking Pain. If it's going to cast Wrecking Pain on you, and then there's a Sovereign after, you can cloak at the last second, and sometimes it gets to it and sometimes not. I also really recommend on this fight to play elusiveness. It's a really good talent. We usually play with cheat death in many occasions, but for this fight in particular, because everything is not AoE, it's single targeted damage, you get this extra reduction. It also makes our evasion a defensive cooldown that helps a lot. Of course, when you cloak, you can also clear some spiders, but I've been told, and also I it doesn't really matter that much. If your tank is competent, usually spiders should not be a huge issue. Of course, the people also have to be positioned correctly so they don't run around like headless chickens. But that is everything really on this dungeon. Not a lot of crazy things that you can do, and I'm not talking about packs and things like that, because that's for another video. And that will be all. See you in the next one.